What's going on, guys? Greek Freak here, and in this video we of course have now finally hit the end of this agreement, and the Pelicans now have agreed to trade Anthony Davis to the Los Angeles Lakers. And as far as this, we of course knew the fact that this was Anthony Davis's preferred spot, which made the Lakers the most leveraged team, knowing the fact that he would be willing to sign a long-term deal there. He, of course, I reported, narrowed it down to two teams, the Knicks and the Lakers, and with the injury of Kevin Durant, this really put the Lakers right there in the forefront for this position, especially considering the fact of what they were willing to give up. And of course, that is going to be for Anthony Davis, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart, and 3 first-round picks. So whenever we look at that, obviously they got to keep Kyle Kuzma in that trade, but of course having to give up players such as Brandon Ingram, who I think the fact that the Lakers did pretty good as far as their outcoming as far as the players. Now, as far as the draft picks, of course, you knew the fact that you were going to have to give them up. And the real question was as far as what they're willing to give up here. So in this situation, this is probably the most we've ever had to see for as far as a trade since Carmelo Anthony to the Knicks, whenever we look at something like that. So as far as that, obviously when you're the Pelicans, you're trying to give up Anthony Davis for the absolute most, and I very much think that they did it. I think the fact that this is a good standing for both teams as far as this trade. Obviously, if you're the Los Angeles Lakers and you know the fact that the Warriors are out of the picture for the next year, you have to go out, do everything that you can as soon as possible, considering the fact that you have LeBron James. You have him on very much a very more smaller window considering his age going into it, and you want to be able to establish a chemistry immediately. And after you see what has happened and the uncertainty which is next season of the NBA, you want to be the forefront favorite for this. And with the situation where we don't know where Kawhi Leonard's going to be going to yet, as far as he could stay in Toronto, could go to the Clippers, and the worst thing that you would want to happen would be the fact that you're the second best team in Los Angeles in that situation. So you go out, you get the forefront pieces here, maybe attracting a free agent before it was said. Like I mentioned, this deal was going to be done before the NBA draft, despite the fact that David Griffin was mentioning he would allow it to go as long as possible. But you had to make this type of move before the draft. Now, the Pelicans, as far as their side of the deal, I think the fact that they got good pieces out of this. So Josh Hart, of course, another good three-point shooting point guard, a good piece as well. And of course, those 3 first-round picks, they are allowed to, of course, maybe look into trading that number 4 pick, as this is a top 3 draft team. So maybe if a team's willing to go up, they maybe even try to move that piece as well. So we'll definitely have to see what they're willing to do in that situation with the number 4 pick for this round. And of course, the 2 more future ones that they will be having from the Los Angeles Lakers. More likely going to be a later round draft picks, but something else to also add on to it. And of course, when you have somebody like Zion Williamson, you want to try to prove to him and try to not have a repeat of the Anthony Davis situation that you had, just not really going into your prime. But as far as I think the fact that they added pretty good pieces together, and of course with the Los Angeles Lakers getting Anthony Davis, that now has them in the 4 favorites of Las Vegas, of course, with 7-2 odds to win the NBA championship next season. And like I mentioned, it is so open. Now, of course, this is probably going to be adjusted as this is a huge free agency deal, but it could be very big as far as for the other end for them, as they could attract more free agents to join LeBron James and Anthony Davis, as they do have cap space to add 1 more superstar caliber player. So whenever we definitely have to sit there and see about how that would transition if they do end up getting that next player to add with them. But whenever we do, of course, look at it as far as this team is established, they do not have much as far as a dead set team. There's a lot of people that, of course, they signed to 1-year deals. So this leaves this in option as far as what are they willing to put together when it comes to them all playing together. In this situation, of course, right now, I would have to imagine that in the way it currently is, LeBron James is going to go back into handling the basketball as far as a more predominant point forward, rather than where he's going to be an off-ball player by any means at this moment. Of course, if they add another point guard, such as maybe a Kyrie Irving or something, he may be willing, of course, to attract a player such as that to this team. But as far as the team that they do have, Anthony Davis obviously is going to be a big part, the second option at this direct moment when it comes to the scoring, and really a predominant person. We've never seen, of course, LeBron James play with such a big man like Anthony Davis, who's able to shoot the three the way he is and dominate the basketball one-on-one. Even though Chris Bosh was a very good player, he's not at the level that Anthony Davis was as far as right now as an MVP caliber player. So as far as this, I think the fact that this is going to change up the NBA, especially, I definitely feel like if the NBA stayed the way it was going to be a very much a question mark once again as far as who would be able to win the championship. But this really does put this into perspective. I think that right now for the Lakers, it will be championship or bust as far as expectations for them. But as far as this, I think the fact that this still leaves other things is going to make other teams desperate, such as Houston. I think the fact that it's going to make them want to still make some moves and try to add on for other pieces as well. So we're going to see what they're able to do and what they're capable of doing with these moves. So, of course, with all the drama that had surrounded the Los Angeles Lakers throughout this entire season, I think the fact that this is showing a little bit more better resolve here, as they're capable of just showing they're able to make these moves. They're willing to do this now. Of course, there's not too much risk involved in this as far as what they're willing to give up, because there's nothing more that they have to worry about. There's not a player. Anthony Davis isn't leaving next season. He's going to be signing with you long term. It's already been agreed upon basically by him and, of course, his agent Rich Paul. So whenever we look at this is a win-win situation, I feel like, for both teams. They both get something that they really do want. One, as in the Pelicans, get a chance to rebuild with younger players, and of course maybe have those assets as future trading pieces, or of course future building blocks for players for themselves. So whenever we look at this, I think the fact that this really does work good for both teams. Of course, anything that you get the superstar, usually the team that trades for a superstar wins the trade, and obviously it's going to be a little bit more difficult with all these pieces to know who's going to win this trade as far as in the long term. But as far as right now, definitely the Lakers have a huge advantage here, and when you put yourself in championship position, you did a great job there. So as far as that, I of course want to know what your guys' thoughts are on this trade, and what is your thoughts for both sides of it as far as what's going to happen? Do you think that the Pelicans did the right move here? Do you think that they got enough out of it? Do you think that the Lakers put too much into it? Tell me what you guys' thoughts are. And if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure that you guys leave a like and subscribe to become part of the Greek Army today. And as always, this is Spartan.